Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the head of the table. For over a decade, his name has echoed through WWE arenas as both a powerhouse and a franchise cornerstone. But even icons aren't immune to the winds of change. And change is exactly what's sweeping through WWE as of late. The last few months have been nothing short of seismic. Familiar names, Braun Strowman, Dakota Kai, R-Truth, Carlito, have all been let go. Some were surprises, some weren't, but all had one thing in common: they fell victim to TKO's tightening grip on its budget. According to inside reports, Braun Strowman was released due to the sheer weight of his contract. A high salary for limited appearances, and in the eyes of the brass, the math just didn't add up. For a company that is now deeply entwined with financial optics and shareholder value, expensive part-time talent is no longer untouchable. And yet, Roman Reigns remains. But for how long? His last televised appearance came just after WrestleMania 41. The sight of him being brutally attacked by Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker marked a clear turning point. Breakker aligned himself with Rollins. Reigns disappeared. Since then, silence. This isn't the Roman of 2020. The era of constant domination and record-breaking championship reigns is beginning to fade into memory. In April, Reigns openly discussed the possibility of retirement after WrestleMania 42. The end of the road, in his own words, is nearing. Once, Roman wrestled 52 matches in a year. That was 2022. In 2023, only 11. By 2024, just 6. And now, here we are, in mid-2025. The number 3. Let that sink in. A man commanding a reported salary between $15 and $20 million annually has stepped into the ring 3 times this entire year. When you do the math, that's over $1 million per appearance. And that is not an easy number to defend in a boardroom. Former WWE voice and insider Jonathan Coachman recently spoke on the Last Word podcast and laid it out plainly: it's all about the almighty bottom dollar. He didn't sugarcoat it. He didn't dance around it. He said what many within the industry have been whispering. Coachman brought up the real dilemma. Roman Reigns just came out and said, "I'm gonna sign another 2-year deal and then I'm done." He questioned if that makes sense financially, given Roman's dwindling schedule and massive price tag. That kind of honesty cuts deep. Especially when locker rooms are being thinned out. When talent, hungry and full of potential, are shown the door because their numbers didn't meet expectations, or worse, because their contracts simply didn't fit the budget. And therein lies the contradiction. If Roman Reigns, in all his glory, is only performing 10 or 20 times a year, how long until TKO starts questioning his value? How long before Roman goes from being the exception to the rule to the centerpiece of the next wave of cost-cutting? WWE isn't just a wrestling company anymore. It's part of a publicly traded juggernaut. And public companies care about one thing above all else: return on investment. Right now, Roman Reigns is one of WWE's most expensive investments. The product he's delivering, no matter how spectacular, is becoming increasingly scarce. Sure, his legacy is set. He's done what few others can. He's carried the company through pandemic arenas, dominated PPV headlines, and rebuilt the main event scene around himself. But nostalgia doesn't pay the bills. This is a company that let go of R-Truth, a veteran and longtime fan favorite. They cut Carlito, who had just returned to the fold, hoping for a last run. Dakota Kai, part of Damage Control, added depth and story to the women's division, gone. Even Braun Strowman, who once flipped ambulances and walked like a titan among men, couldn't escape the ledger. The list grows, while the roster shrinks. And the unspoken reality is growing louder: Roman Reigns may not be safe. It would be shocking, but it wouldn't be unprecedented. WWE has made stunning cuts before. Hall of Famers, champions, main eventers. Everyone remembers when Bray Wyatt was released. Or when Dolph Ziggler's long run came to a quiet, unceremonious end. They were once the heartbeat of the brand too. Roman's draw power, undeniable, but it isn't what it once was. With fewer appearances, fewer matches, and waning momentum, the shine starts to fade, even on a diamond. You don't need to hate Roman to recognize the writing on the wall. You just need to understand the business. And business has changed. If Roman wants to see out the next 2 years, the pressure is on to prove his worth again, not in legacy, but in presence. He must wrestle. He must promote. He must reign. Or he must walk away before someone decides for him. WWE now answers to shareholders. TKO executives look at spreadsheets, not storylines. To them, $1 million per match legend may not be a legacy, they may see a liability. This is no longer Vince McMahon's playground. Sentiment has no seat at this table. Efficiency does. Roman Reigns may have earned his crown through blood, sweat, and championship gold. But in 2025, kings are not protected. They're evaluated. And if the numbers stop adding up, the empire may fall, not with a bang, but with a line in a financial report. Roman once said, "Acknowledge me." But now, TKO may be asking a different question: is he worth it? And that question, more than any opponent, might be his biggest threat yet.